Hello everyone, and welcome back. In a previous episode we implemented search, so it would fetch podcasts from podcastindex.org. We implemented this subscribe button so that you can subscribe to podcasts like Talk Python to me. However, in this specific example, when we tried to subscribe to the Stuff You Should Know podcast, it eventually blew up once the feed had been fetched because our parser was not resilient enough. You can see here when it's attempting to parse the feed link, it blows up. So the feed it was actually trying to fetch was this one, Stuff You Should Know. So if we go into our terminal and try and fetch this, let's make it HTTPS, and let's look at it in BAT. We have a look at this. It's a pretty big file, but if we look here at the atom link, it looks like there's multiple atom links here, whereas our parser, if we fire open the editor here, look at parser, there's only expected one atom link, so it's looking up a dictionary here and then trying to get another key in the dictionary, but the problem is this is a list of items. So I think what we need to do is conditionally parse atom links when there's multiple. Okay, so without further ado, I think let's get started. So if we have a method here, we can call it parse feed link, and then what do we want here? We probably want to pass this, maybe. So if it's an instance of a dict, and we want to return the data.get href. We want to replace all of this. In fact, we want to just replace this with a call to parse feed link. If we are smart about this, the test should still pass because Talk Python to me was handled this way. But if it's an instance of a list, we want to loop over the list and pass the kind of best match. So if we look in here again and we look at this data, we can see this one is rel self, this one is rel first, and this one is rel last. Well, I think we're just interested in the rel self, so I think we can say, I'm not sure what rel would look like in this. Have we already got an example of rel? Let's add a breakpoint here maybe, and see if this gets hit when we actually call the code. Maybe it might be best to actually download this file so I can put it into test data, but let's see how far we get. So if we look at data now, the first element here has a key called rel, and the first element itself is actually a dictionary. So maybe we can say if it has a key called rel, so if element.get rel, so if this is self, maybe get rel. If this is self, then we want to return parse feed link on the element itself. So let's see how far we get when we do it this way. If we go back, we refresh this, I think it's still a bit stuck. We go here, refresh. This is invalid date format of none. Okay, so we've hit another error here maybe. Oh no, it's still hitting our breakpoint. Let's have a look. Okay, no, it's still definitely experiencing an error. So this is in parse podcast pub date. So maybe it doesn't have a pub date. Let's have a look. let's add a breakpoint at top level here. In fact, we can actually have a look in here if it has pub date. Doesn't look like it does, to be honest. If we have a look for pub date, no, the item seems to have a pub date, but not the feed. So what if we do if the feed has no pub date? It's interesting. The joys of RSS and their inconsistencies. So here we are, we've hit the breakpoint again. So what do we have? We have a channel. That's massive. What keys does a channel have? Pub. So it doesn't look like it has a pub date. So one of the assumptions we made was that every feed would have a pub date, and that turns out to be incorrect. So when we're passing past date to date time, we're passing this none because this key doesn't exist. So we need to be a bit more resilient about that. Does it also have last build date? Let's have a look inside here. So last build date would definitely blow up in the same way. So maybe let's pull out pub date into here. It's going to be channel.get pub date, and then last build date is channel.get last build date. And I think maybe we can say pub date if pub date is not none, else none, which is a bit horrible, but hey ho. And then this is going to be the same. It's going to be last build date if last build date is not none, else it's going to be none. Deal with it. So let's delete that breakpoint. Let's go back here. Let's continue. Let's just restart the server and then reload this and see how far it gets this time. Okay, so it's hit a breakpoint again. I need to remember to delete that breakpoint, but let's just continue, see how far it gets. Promising. Ah, we failed. Okay, so this looks like it's still inside parse podcast. Again, the TTL is missing. This feed has nothing. Give me something. Yeah, so there's no, okay, so there's no TTL either. Interesting. TalkPython had so much by default. Maybe it was not a good starting point. So this is going to be channel.get TTL. How are we going to do this? TTL, but if TTL is not none, else none. This is starting to look quite ugly now, but we soldier on. Remember to delete this breakpoint this time. So that's the last podcast item. I'm hoping that we actually, sorry, that's the last actual podcast field. I'm hoping it now blows up inside a parse item, and we'll see what's missing from there. So we restart the server, go here, query this again, let's see how far it gets. Okay, not null constraint failed, podcast.pubdate. Yes, that's correct, because we made it required. So maybe we need like an allow empty, so Django allow non in date time. Blank equals true, null equals true. Yeah, that's what I remember it being. Blank is true, null true. We probably want the same here, the same here. Make migrations, migrate, restart the server. Fifth time lucky. Let's see how far we get. It's promising. It's not errored yet. Oh boy. We have Stuff You Should Know podcast. Alright, that's awesome. Sweet. Let's see how this looks in the admin. Podcasts, stuff you should know. What order is this supposed to be in? So go all the way to the top. Stuff you should know. So the first episode is Smell-O-Vision. I've noticed that in the admin this isn't actually ordered correctly, so let me just fix this. I think if we change the default ordering here, we can say pub date, because obviously the episodes do actually have a pub date. Okay, so episodes have pub date, but the podcast itself doesn't have seemingly any information. What's going on here? Page unresponsive. Fantastic. What have I done wrong? Let's close this tab. Restart the server. And go to admin. Hopefully that was just a hiccup. See if Talk Python to me is working. Whatever it's a problem with. Okay, so that seems to be right. This is ordered by pub date. Stuff you should know. Maybe it's just such a massive. It does seem pretty giant. This is 42,000 lines, and it goes all the way back to 2008. So I think the admin struggles to render all this content. Maybe I do need to limit what I'm actually displaying here, or potentially prefetch some data. I think we have a really bad n+1 query problem on this page, potentially, which I might need to address in the next episode. But yeah, okay, yeah, it definitely does not like the number of HTML elements on this page, so we'll just close that for the time being so it doesn't destroy my CPU. But yeah, for the time being, we have stuff you should know here. That seems to work fine, although I don't know where Talk Python to me has just gone. Yeah, that feels like a good position to end the episode, and I'll see you in the next one.